Harvard's legacy admissions under federal investigation. The Education Department is investigating Harvard University's use of legacy admissions in response to a complaint from advocacy groups alleging that the practice violates federal civil rights law. In a letter, the department notified Lawyers for Civil Rights, the group that filed the complaint against Harvard, that it has initiated a probe into the school's admissions process. The complaint, filed by the Greater Boston Latino Network and other advocacy groups, contends that legacy admissions at Harvard systematically disadvantage applicants of color, contradicting the university's commitment to campus diversity. The advocacy groups have asked the Education Department to require Harvard to end the practice if it wants to continue receiving federal funds, arguing that legacy admissions are not justified by educational necessity. Harvard students and legacy applicants are 6 times more likely to be admitted, according to Harvard data cited in the complaint. Legacy and donor preferences take spots away from other applicants based on merit, potentially reducing opportunities for students of color. Harvard is conducting a review of its admissions policies following the Supreme Court's ruling on affirmative action. Legacy admissions have faced increased scrutiny since the ruling, with President Joe Biden and the NAACP calling for an end to the practice, claiming it favors white applicants. The Education Department's Office for Civil Rights is investigating whether Harvard's legacy admissions violate Title VI of the Federal Civil Rights Act. The university maintains that it is committed to providing opportunities to students from diverse backgrounds. Continuing from the previous summary, legacy admissions at Harvard and other universities have been a subject of increased scrutiny after the Supreme Court's ruling on affirmative action. President Joe Biden and the NAACP have both called for an end to the practice, arguing that it perpetuates privilege and disadvantages applicants of color. The complaint against Harvard cites data showing that 70% of the university's legacy applicants are white, and they are 6 times more likely to be admitted. This preference for legacy and donor-related applicants potentially takes away spots from other applicants based on their own merits, resulting in reduced opportunities for students of color. Harvard has responded to the investigation by stating that it is conducting a comprehensive review of its admissions policies in light of the Supreme Court's ruling. The university remains committed to fostering diversity and encouraging students from diverse backgrounds to apply for admission. As the Education Department's Office for Civil Rights investigates Harvard's legacy admissions, the outcome could have significant implications for the university's admissions practices and potentially set a precedent for other institutions with similar policies. The controversy surrounding legacy admissions raises important questions about fairness and equal opportunities in the college admissions process. Advocates argue that ending legacy preferences would create a more equitable system, allowing for a more diverse and inclusive student body. As the investigation unfolds, it remains to be seen how the Education Department will proceed and what impact it may have on Harvard's admissions policies and practices. The case underscores the ongoing efforts to address issues of equity and access in higher education.